Inside the last 24 minutes of the SportsMax Zone for this Tuesday, we're going to talk some cricket now. The 2024 edition of the Cricket West Indies CG United Regional Super50 Cup got off to a thrilling start in Trinidad and Tobago earlier on Monday as the defending champions. TNT Red Force turned in a vintage bowling performance to resist a stern challenge from the combined campuses and colleges. The Red Force, despite an unconvincing batting effort, rallied to post a 60-run victory at the Sir Frank Worrell Memorial Ground in St. Augustine in the day's first encounter. And here's what happened. Centre bat, the hosts struggled to 194 in their 50 overs on the back of opener Kieran Otley's 45 and 37 from Jed Gooley against figures of 3 for 18 from Seamer Amari Goodridge and 2 wickets apiece from Akshaya Prasad, 2 for 29, and Romario Graves with 2 for 30. Now hunting 195 for victory, CCC were in control of the chase at 102 for 2 after 26 overs. But stifling figures of 4 for 8 from Kari Pierre, who had support from fellow spinner Yannick Carrier with 3 for 31, proved too much for the combined campuses and colleges, who crumbled to be dismissed for 134 in 38.1 overs. So TNT, despite not putting up a big total, responded well there for the result that they got. In the second game of the day, the Guyana Harper Eagles were also on the verge of victory at the Brand Lara Cricket Academy, having restricted the Windward's Volcanoes to 94 for 5. That was the last score. We had 94 for 5 in the 18th over. In their chase for 275, the Harper Eagles had earlier gotten up to 274 for 5 from their 50 overs, led by captain Tevin Imlach, who top scored with 65 and a 29-ball 54 from Kemo Paul. So the Guyana Harper Eagles, reigning 4-day champions in regional cricket, looking to get a victory here over the Volcanoes. We can update the score you're seeing there from 68 for 5 in 14 overs to 94 for 5 in the 18th over. So the Windward's Volcanoes fighting, but they have an uphill battle here to get to the 275 total. So TNT Red Force getting off to a winning start in their title defence, even without their ace batsman Darren Bravo, who led them to the title last year, and spinners Kara Pierre and Yannick Carrier doing the job for them today, Mariah, because their total wasn't a big one. It was a gettable target, but the CCC weren't able to get there.
Yeah, and you know, when I looked at today's match, the batting, I have to say, despite the win, has been very, very disappointing. There were a couple of partnerships, Lance. We had a partnership between Jed and Yannick Carrier, and then there was one between Kieran Otley and Amir Django. But Nikhil, in previewing this competition, said that, you know, this is an opportunity for the players to knock on the selector's door. There are places, you know, we have a lot of competitions coming up when it comes to West Indies cricket, and I felt like I didn't see that from the batters today. However, on the bowling side of things, very impressive stuff from Yannick Carrier again, and Kari Pierre. Kari Pierre. And the thing is, you can see the experience of these two players coming to the forefront. What I will say is, moving forward, though, the Red Force will not be able to get away with a meager batting performance like today, because then let's just juxtapose that with the Guyana Happy Eagles and what they did today when it comes to the bat. You know, their captain leading from the front, not getting to the century that Nikhil wants to see from these players, but good batting effort from them. So for me, it's as if, you know, this competition is one that you're going to be expected to score runs. And if the Red Force continues in this manner, it's not going to be too pretty.
Yeah, well, the fact is the Harper Eagles were playing in Tarouba at the Brand Lara Cricket Academy, so batting conditions there could quite reasonably be different from the Sir Frank Worrell Memorial ground that TNT struggled on. So I got the impression, listening to the coverage, that batting was difficult in St. Augustine. So while TNT's total may have been a low total, I think it was a bowling-friendly pitch.
Okay.
So, you know, it was fighting for them that they were able to get to the 194. And true to form, CCC also struggled with the bat, so they weren't able, even though they were going well at 126 for 2, I think it was, and they were on course for a victory. But good on the TNT spinners, who ensured that they were stifled. At the moment, the Windward's Volcanoes are struggling to in their response to the Guyana Harper Eagles total. At the moment, it doesn't look as if they'll get there. We'll monitor that and see how that goes. In tomorrow's show, we'll look at what happened there. But as you mentioned just now, Mariah, the preview that we did yesterday with Nikhil Chandan is suggesting that there are spaces in the West Indies ODI setup because the team isn't doing well. They are currently ranked 10th in the world, West Indies, in ODI cricket. And there can be players pressuring for places in the team. Having said that, the news from the West Indies camp is that the Caribbean side earlier on Tuesday announced their 15-member one-day international squad to tackle England in the 3-match series, which starts on Thursday in Antigua and Barbuda. The hosts have made one change to the team, which went down 2-1 to Sri Lanka, with the Guyanese batsman Shimron Hetmyer replacing opener Alec Athanaze. So that is the squad there. Shea Hope captain. The 17-year-old Joel Andrew retains his spot. Keith Sikarti, Roston Chase, Matthew Ford, Hetmyer, Alzara Joseph, Shamar Joseph, Brandon King, Evan Lewis, Kuda Kishmoti, Shervin Rutherford, Jaden Seals, Romario Shepherd, and Hayden Walsh Jr. So that's the team there. Athanaze failing to retain his spot. He has struggled for form in his 5 matches so far in 2024 in the ODIs. Only 59 runs for an average of 11.8 in 5 matches. So Athanaze struggling for form and loses his spot in the team to Hetmyer. Disappointing for the Dominican because we know he's a quality player, but his returns have been pretty meager.
Yeah, and then Shimron Hetmyer comes into that spot. And the thing is with Shimron Hetmyer, and I've always said this on the show, very exciting player, very talented player, a player that when he's in his best form, you know, he's unstoppable. But there's always that little doubt in the back of your mind. Are you going to see this Shimron Hetmyer that you know is capable of hitting those 6s, those 4s, you know? He has a very good cricketing brain too. And one of the things I really admire about Shimron Hetmyer, Lance, is when he's in any team, he's there arranging the team, you know, giving instructions, all of that, because, you know, he has that leadership quality about him. But, you know, once he starts and you feel as if he gives away his wicket very cheaply, I think his confidence goes down and then he continues to suffer in the competition. He comes into the setup. I really hope that he can fire Lance and we can get that foundation that we need from the openers.
Yeah, people will remember that in 2016 it was Shimron Hetmyer that was captain of the West Indies under-19 team that won the ICC Youth World Cup. And I think based on what we saw then and his leadership, it would have been reasonable to expect that his career would have been further on from where it is now. But we know he's a quality player and he is still not old, so there is time for Shimron Hetmyer to flourish and deliver on the promise that he had shown as a teenager. So let's see how he embraces his recall to the West Indies ODI squad and how well the Windies can do here against the English, because as we have been saying, West Indies tend to do well against England in the Caribbean. And this England team is not the strongest team. I wouldn't say the West Indies team is the strongest team either, but I think there is hope in Antigua and Barbuda that the West Indies will have a winning start to this series on Thursday. Yeah,
Caribbean conditions, Caribbean fans, we bring the vibe, so let's just see.
Yeah, so first match Thursday at the Sir Vivian Richards Stadium in Antigua. And the team just announced this afternoon, I think a little bit belatedly, I think the squad was heading to Antigua and Barbuda today. So I think we were expecting as media to get that squad a little earlier than we did this afternoon. But we now know the squad.
We'll take it.
and let's see what happens in the opener. So break time. We'll be back with more to put the wrap on today's Tuesday edition of the SportsMax Zone after this.